Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, August the 17th, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. What are we looking at? We're looking at a chart that is trying to bounce off the floor of support. I noted this yesterday or days before that using this Fibonacci. Of course, you know I don't have Fibonacci numbers on it. I have Gann numbers sitting on it, but it's come right into the support zone. So I'm fairly comfortable with what it is that I think that I'm seeing here. The buyers are going to try and lift it off the floor here. Why? Well, if you've been short off of this trigger point here, you're saying to yourself, hey, that's old support right there. I've got to take some profit. At the same time, the dip buyers are saying, hey, that was the last place we had a pretty nice bounce. I'm going to try and buy here. And then right after the jobless claims came in just a little shy of expectations, that's pushing price action up one more time. Jobs looking good and strong. I have no idea whether good news is going to be bad news is going to be good news. I don't know. The market is in flux. That is very clear. We had an upward trend that is breaking, price action coming into support. Do I suspect the support is lower? Well, yes, I do. However, everyone's making a big deal out of the 50 daily moving average, simple daily moving average. That is also a bounce zone for traders. And so they're going to try and lift off of this. Now, what happens when a chart is in a very steep downward motion and all of a sudden it starts getting a lift? Okay, so let's go to the last time it did it like this from a daily perspective, right? The first thing that happens is that the sellers will try to come in trend and shake the prices down after the first bounce. Okay, so notice here, that's what this is. It opens up, tries to bounce, fades, makes a lower low, and then closes above the close and actually above the open of the prior price. That is going to be a close over 44.52. At that point, we're going to have another press down, and that press down is going to say, all right, if I hold that area, now I get to go long. And that's really what's got to happen. We have to stop heading lower. We have to breach the resistance areas that are now old support that will look like resistance once it's broken. We have to punch above it, and then we have to pull back and hold a lower low, and then we get to move forward again. Is that what's going to happen in this case? Well, let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, bounce, and then fade, and then bounce, and then fade. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bounce and then fade. Now we have 2 days and we're starting to move. Take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's really rare in this particular market that we've gone down in a row more than 4 days. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bounce. 1, 2. Bounce. Are we looking at something that looks just like this over here? Potentially. And so my thought would be watch for the pullbacks to hold the low / close of yesterday and then continue long up into this area today. This is a likely relief bounce zone. People are just tired of selling. They're taking some profit. They're moving. So that's the pattern that I am seeing today. Sorry about that. Allergies still cranking from yesterday. All right. So now what are we looking at here? 3 weeks down here, still sitting in the range of the formation, doing the same sort of thing, right? Is it going to reverse trend? If so, it's going to break 15,100, right? And that's going to be fairly likely. If the trend holds. Now notice, if per happenstance that this bounces and then completely fades, we have a pattern shift once again, and we've got deeper price action to the south. Is that a possibility? Potentially. Are we sitting in rotation? Potentially. It's hard to say, folks. What I want to say is, when we trade, we look at the current candle in motion and the two candles to the left, and we say, all right, what are the traders trying to do? Well, the first thing they're going to try to do is climb the wall of worry that is this candlestick. They're going to stop at that 50% mark. They're going to mess around, and they're either going to fade and try to hold the base again and punch up before the end of the day, or they're going to punch up, or they're going to fade and break lower. But all we have to do is say, all right, where's legitimate? If it's legitimate that the traders try to fade about 15,035, and we say, okay, I'm taking a short, and we pull down, but we can't head back to the opening tick, you get out of Dodge and you go, okay, that's all that's doing. Let's see if we can run it up the flagpole here. Now, if you noticed, whenever this thing breaks and it's got levels, I said this yesterday, I said, hey, I don't know that we're going to get there today, but I said this yesterday. I said the next area we're going to look at is 14,905, and it sure did that last night. And so now all the traders are going to be buying this dip. That's my suspicion, because that's what they did last time. We traders that trade to eat, we're simpletons. We go, what happened last time? Okay, I'm doing that. All right? That's really all that happens, honestly. Okay, let's take a look at SPY. All right, SPY doing the same thing, trying to bounce off of 438-ish. Here is the gap fill. So that's 442. We could try a long butterfly here. See if it gives us anything. I do suspect we end to the upside here. I have no idea what happens tomorrow, but I do expect we have upside pressure here today. It just looks like a place to have a rally. All right, and so we're going to walk up this wall of worry into 442, perhaps 443. When will I be wrong? This is always the question you want to ask yourself. When will my supposition tell me that my idea is incorrect? Well, I'm going to break the close of the prior day, and that's right here. If I break that close, which happens to be the low of the morning, if I break that close, I have got to say, wait a second, I do not have any long action here. I have got to look at other opportunities. Okay, taking a look at the Qs, same sort of thing, also holding the low. Yesterday, I said, yeah, let's take a peek at this number. Broke it, and then some. So we need to move it down into the area of heavy congestion. And that's all the way over here. When will we be wrong? If it loses 362. And if it doesn't immediately recover. But if it loses 362 on this kind of trend, it's probably heading down to 358. We do have a tech rotation. I just don't know how long it's going to be. There's a lot of stuff heating up in tech, particularly in our relationships with China. That's really something to watch. Let's take a look at oil. Oil is bouncing very nicely. Here is sideways congestion, kind of a big deal, bouncing up off the range. Do I think oil gets back over 81.50? I don't. I think it's in a fade. But if it does bounce, and it bounces up above, take a look, right? If we're staring this down and we're here, we have all this congestion. If it gets above that 80.60, it could easily get into 81 and 81.50. Very, very likely. Okay, sideways action, a lot of bullish pressure here on oil right now, especially if on the initial claims number is light. It means people are going to be driving to work. All right, so that's probably going to give us another fairly healthy bounce. Take a look. Since oil started rotating over, it hasn't had 3 days down in a row in a very long time. The last time it did that was around here. So my suspicion is we've got ourselves a bounce event. All right, that's it for me, folks. I'll see you on the platforms. Take care and stay frosty.